Welcome back. Right now on this Business Wednesday, we are going to focus on micro businesses. There's over 20 million in the U.S., and they have more of an impact on the economy than any of us can imagine. Right now we have Alexandra Rosen joining us from GoDaddy to mention micro businesses, why they're important to our economy, and how GoDaddy helps them as well as entrepreneurs. Alexandra, thanks for being here today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
So first, let's define micro businesses just so that we're all on the same page about exactly what they are.
Absolutely. So micro businesses are slightly different than small businesses. 94% of them have less than 10 employees, and over half are solopreneurs or on their own. The ones GoDaddy focuses on are the ones who have an online presence for their business.
And tell me the importance of micro businesses in our business economy here in the States.
Absolutely. So micro businesses, while they're very small, have a huge impact on their local economies. So, for example, we've learned since 2018, studying them and partnering with economists and political scientists, that they raise household median incomes in the community year over year. They lower unemployment. They create 2 wage jobs for every 1 entrepreneur, and they just make communities more resilient. And Salt Lake City metro area, for example, has 90,000 of them, but oftentimes they're just too new or too small to be seen.
90,000, that's more than I would have ever guessed. So tell me how this ties into GoDaddy's initiative to venture forward.
Absolutely. GoDaddy's mission overall is to help make a more inclusive economy. And Venture Forward is really all about uncovering the impact of these 20 million plus in the US and sharing that data freely. Just because a lot of these micro businesses know how to start, and what amazing fact is 2.8 million more started in 2020 than 2019, and over a third have started since the start of the pandemic. They don't necessarily know how to be successful. And we are watching really interesting demographic shifts in terms of who is running these micro businesses, not just their impact, but what are their needs and what's behind them, what's the motivation. So we've discovered a lot of really interesting things we are excited to share and empower others to apply.
And speaking of those interesting things that were recently discovered, I understand that Venture Forward conducted a survey about the impact of micro businesses, especially on local economies. Tell me about that.
Yes. So in February, we did a nationwide survey asking a lot about, what these micro businesses, did they start out of necessity or out of opportunity? And when they started, who is starting them. And we discovered things like, a lot more started obviously out of necessity, just given what's been happening the last couple of years, but also so many are motivated just to be their own boss and to give back to the community. And we're seeing shifts in who is behind these micro businesses. For example, women are now more than half of the micro business owners. They went up 10% during the pandemic in terms of who's behind creating the new starts. And the number 1 fastest growing segment is actually Black women. So we're learning a lot about who's behind them and then what they need.
What are some resources available to micro business owners?
Well, through our survey, we also found that less than 1 in 4 tend to know about local government resources available to them. We know how much mayors and their teams and economic developers care and offer and create programs, but sometimes because these businesses are not registered with an EIN or incorporated, they're hard to reach. And so we're really looking to partner with cities to help close that gap of information and help bridge getting resources to these micro businesses through all of our experience at GoDaddy and speaking to hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs every month through a new initiative we just launched called GoDaddy Open. And so any city that's interested in learning more can email us at open@godaddy.com.
And where can we find even more information about this initiative?
This initiative, the data I mentioned, to get a look at Salt Lake City and see the concentration of those 90,000 businesses, all the survey results, everything, it's available on our website at godaddy.com/venture forward. So godaddy.com/venture forward. Anyone can go there. You can email us from there and you can get a look at your city, get a look at micro businesses. it's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much, Alexandra Rosen, for joining us today. Really appreciate this interesting discussion about micro businesses. There's so many more than I would have even imagined here locally, and they do make a very big impact. So thank you for this information and for GoDaddy's support of micro businesses. We'll be back with more here on Mountain Connections right after this.